Coach Frank Scelfo.
Good job, Damon. Damon's having a fill-in today for Kim because he bolted on us. Anyway, thank y'all for being here today. Appreciate it. It's that time. It's game week. Been waiting a long time. You know that last time we were together was right before the Sanford game. Bittersweet ending to the season, but now we got new life, a new team, and everything's fresh, and we're ready to go. We've had a really good summer workouts. I thought those things went really well. I thought our strength staff did an unbelievable job. And in fall camp was outstanding. I'm really excited with our team, where we are right now, and who's able to do some of the things we need them to do. And I want to give credit to our training staff. Cruz Dunn and those people, his staff did an unbelievable job for us, battling the heat and everything else in those conditions. And we haven't had any issues. We've been able to practice. We've been able to do everything that we need to do for us to get ready for the season. And his staff just worked overtime, getting things done for us. And I just can't tell him how much I appreciate it from that standpoint. So we got an ambitious schedule this year. 3 road games to start the season, 2 against FBS, and then 1 up at a traditional FCS powerhouse at Eastern Washington out on the red turf, and then come back home and start our conference schedule. And it's going to be demanding. That part's going to be good. I think it's going to test us, but we'll be able to learn who we are in those first 3 weeks. I think right now, the toughest part of figuring out who we are is a lot of the transition that takes place. We really don't have a starter on offense that comes back from last season that's playing in the same position. And we have only got a couple of guys on defense, but I think we're talented. I think we've got some depth. I think we got some guys who I'm looking forward to watching them play and see how they perform. I think that's the best part when you open up with a team like Mississippi State. A quality opponent like that from the SEC, it's obvious, who they are, and giving an opportunity for your guys to see who they are, and that's the part that kind of excites you. Then going to South Alabama, and and I'm not looking down the road, just looking at the season and how it's going to unfold, but it gives us an opportunity to really find out who we are early on in the season, and I'm looking forward to that. I think our team has really come together. I think we've got a lot of the camaraderie on our ball club is something that we haven't had the entire time. This is the best one that we've had from a team standpoint. The culture that we've developed and kept is really what makes this thing enjoyable week in and week out, year in and year out, and it's grown. So I think our brand is growing into a national brand, and when you look at that, being in the top 25 again this season, one of only 3 teams in the last 4 years in the country to do that, and then having an opportunity to, represent our conference again in the playoffs is something that we look forward to, and that's, I guess, the expectation. I don't know. We just go out and play every week. We don't guarantee wins and losses. We just hope that we play well and we continue to grow as the season goes on. So it's going to be short. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we will. I know you got a lot of questions, and we'll get started and go from there.
Talk about the quarterback situation, Coach. Obviously, you bring in Zachary, was at Northwestern, and started there, and you bring back Eli. Just kind of how's that going? And you played 2 over the last few years. Not to give anything away, but is that kind of where you're feeling at this point?
Yeah, I think both guys have earned the opportunity to play. Robbie, when you look at what they've done throughout the summer and fall camp and everything else, you got 2 guys with a lot of experience, 2 guys that have played, 2 guys that have made plays in games. And you want to be able to take advantage of that. And I think what's pretty cool about our team and the culture that we have is that we've had that opportunity to play 2 guys every year since I've been here. Chase and Virgil was the starter in 19. Cole Kelly was the backup. Then Cole Kelly was the starter. Cephas Johnson was the backup. Cephas Johnson was the starter. Eli Sawyer was the backup. And all those backups got extensive playing time so that just in case something happened, and a lot of times it did, those guys are ready to go and ready to perform. I don't see that changing this year. As far as who's the starter and who the backup is, still up in the air. They're continuing to compete and continually growing within our program. So both of those guys, you're going to feel good about them, what they got on the field. But when you see it in the quarterback room with them able to, I guess you're going to say share time, but them able to be so unselfish to step back and say, you know what, if that's better for the team right now, let's do it. I'm supporting it wholeheartedly. Well, that tells the other 21 positions on the field, hey, if they're willing to do it, then I'm willing to do it. So if I'm not quite getting it done, or another guy has the opportunity to play, I want to give him that chance to play too. And I think that's that's who our team is. That epitomizes who we are as a program, and I think that helps us going forward, pulling for each other, and not it being about me. It's about us, and that's what's pretty cool about that whole situation at the quarterback spot.
In your mind, win or lose, what's the benefit of having an opener at an SEC opponent like Mississippi State?
I don't think there's any benefit of going to start from Mississippi and playing those guys. And I mean, you know, you want to stay away from that. The only benefit is getting the check and coming on home. The good thing, the only other thing on the field, it gives you a chance, gives your guys a chance to go play in that environment, experiencing that in SEC environment on Saturday afternoons, and then matching yourself against those guys. And they're going to see that they'll be able to make plays during the course of that game. It won't be so one-sided. They'll be able to make some plays, and we'll be able to draw from that positive, you know. But do I want to play an 11-game SEC schedule? Heck no, unless they pay us a whole bunch of money. I don't want to do that, you know.
Do you see shades, 2019 when you went to Oxford and played Ole Miss really tight? Do you see any similarities with that team and your team now going up in a hostile environment?
No, I don't, because Ole Miss's staff at that time was turning over. That was their last year, and he was in limbo there. This is a new staff, a new environment coming in. It's going to be kind of bittersweet. I was hoping to see Mike Leach and spend time with him when this thing was announced, and losing him in the off season or at the end of last season, was a tough deal. So we'll have a tribute from them. We've got a deal we're going to wear on our helmets to, out of respect for our Coach Leach. But at the same time, their staff, they got a new staff that's in. They're changing philosophically on offense. So this is going to be completely different than that situation.
To that point, you say you obviously know Coach Leach. Can you just talk about their first home game since he passed? Just your thoughts on him as a coach, and you're an offensive guy. He was an offensive guy.
Yeah.
What his philosophy? Did you take anything off stuff he's done and did your own thing with it? I mean, just talk about y'all's relationship a little bit over the years.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Mike's impacted not only college football but the NFL probably more than anybody else. Hal Mumme was here as a head coach at Southeastern, and those two guys kind of started. Well, they did start the air raid, and it's permeated every program in the country. But it's also gone into the NFL. Those guys have that philosophical attack that's gone through to the NFL, and his impact. Whether they put him in he's a Hall of Famer in everybody's mind that's ever coached in this game, and for him to be able to do that on such a national basis, I don't know, it just speaks volumes as to who he is. He's obviously missed, right? And it's going to be a very emotional game, especially for the Mississippi State players and their fans. He was well loved up there, and he's sorely missed. But I know they're going to, they want to play that for him. I know they had the bowl game, but this is the first home game, so it's going to hit a little bit different from that standpoint. When you look back at his career and where he's been and what he's been able to accomplish. Everybody takes so much from him, obviously the offensively, the X's and O's, that part, but he was so committed to what he was doing that, and he really didn't deviate a lot from it, but he perfected what he was able to do. He truly epitomizes, we're a team of execution and not a team of innovation. They did the same things over and over and over again. His practice habits were the same. Philosophically, he was the same, and they just kept doing it over year in and year out, and he just had so much success. And he did it at different programs, did it with different players, different skill levels, everything. And I think that's where, you're gonna miss him, and college football missed him, and whether it be the fans or the coaches or the teams, everybody's gonna miss him.
What's kind of the structure and the outlook for your wide receiver core going into this weekend? I feel like that's a position group that might have gotten hit the hardest this offseason.
I guess you could say we got some question marks from a game standpoint because they haven't played a lot, right? I have a lot of guys that have game experience, but watching them practice each and every day and their skill sets, we feel pretty good about them. There's going to be some younger guys or guys that haven't played a lot of snaps. They're going to be out there playing. Excited to see what's going to happen to them as we are at some other positions. But I think I think our skill set is gonna continue to get better as the season goes on, as they gain more knowledge of what we're doing. We'll have some young guys, we'll have some inexperienced guys, but we also gonna have some guys who played a little bit. And I don't see how all that meshes with the quarterback. So it's gonna be, we're gonna try them out early on. You know, we're gonna especially in Starkville, we're gonna try them out early on and see what we got.
I know you mentioned this earlier, and I know you don't want to look ahead too much, but with this, schedule the first 3 games on the road, you always do schedule a little bit aggressively. How do you keep, but you always come out on the better side of it once conference play hits. How do you keep the kids, up, chin up, positive after kind of taking some beatings early on?
You know, Matt, we don't, and this is gonna sound stupid, we don't spend a lot of time talking about wins and losses. We really don't. We talk about the process of us getting better each and every week, and that's measurable too. Just the scoreboard is not always the only measuring point. That's probably what y'all always think of as wins and losses. Our guy, we look at film and say, you know what, look at this, you're getting better. Didn't quite get it done this week, but we're getting better. Keep growing, keep building on top of that. And I think that's what gets allows them to see past. I don't schedule these FBS games. They were already scheduled when I got here. I'd rather not play them, to tell you the truth, but I understand the financial rewards that we gain from those. But at the end of the day, getting an opportunity to go to Eastern Washington, I think that's a game for us to be able to get some national exposure. That's a game for us that we need to be able to go play. And by doing that, then again, it's a measuring stick for us, be able to go on the road and do that. But it's also a great experience for our players. So we embrace that. When Ida hit here, we played our first 6 games on the road, and we're 5-1. And it was because our guys embraced the opportunity to play. In 2020, they walked over here and said, you can't play anymore. And we knew what that felt like. Now, just a chance to play is something we embrace. And I don't care where we play. We just got to play. And you just never want that taken away from you again.
No, go ahead.
Defensively, Mississippi State, can you just give a little bit of scouting report, what you know, what you don't know?
Yeah, really good. Really good up front. Their front. You can say 6 or 7 guys. They're just so talented. The size, it's going to be a big size difference. I might not let our guys look over there during pregame. There's going to be a big size difference on that side of the field. They're very athletic. The head coach was the defensive coordinator, so you can see that style continuing to be who they are. Defensive, which is an attacking defense. The back end, they've got very good players on the back end, which allows them to play man when they need to, bring pressure from different angles. He said they might settle down a little bit this year. I don't know if that's the case. I hope they settle down against us. If he wants to try it out, I would love for him to just sit there, and that would be awesome. But I think they're really good when they're running and moving. They get a lot of tackle for losses, sacks, things like that. They're really good on defense.
You look at your defense a little bit, some turnover in the back end, but I think you feel pretty good about the group that's back there this year coming into the season on defense.
We do, Robbie. Like I talked about, we got a lot of guys who don't have a lot of experience playing, but they're physically gifted, physically talented, and it's I think it's a chance for people to really shine. Last year we lost offensive linemen, and we played 3 guys who had never played before, and they did a heck of a job for us. We ended up winning the conference and getting in the playoffs. The same things. I'm hoping the same thing happens on the back end on defense. We lose all 4 guys, and then we got 4 new guys coming in, and some depth. And you go, hey, I wonder if these guys can get it done for us like them. So it's, like I said, it's exciting. I become the biggest fan on Saturday afternoons when our guys are playing, because I get a chance to watch them. I know what they do during the week. I know how much time they put in during the week, but I get excited for them to accomplish certain things on the game day that maybe they hadn't done before. And I think that's the part when you look at and you go, okay, that's why we're doing what we're doing, and that's why we can continue to build on this.
Is this one of the first years where you've had as much continuity on your coaching staff heading into a season?
Yeah, we didn't lose. We're the only team in the conference that didn't lose an assistant coach. How about that? And when you look at Hammond America, Southeastern, what we're doing here, that all contributes to that, and our support from our fans, Matt. For this staff to stay together like it is, I got 3 guys that have been here with me from the beginning. Greg Stevens and Ross Jenkins and AJ Hop. Other guys have been here 4 and 5. So it's just the opportunities, they have other opportunities, but they choose to stay here. And I think that's the best part. I think that speaks volumes for what we got going on here, you know?
Coach, I think back to like rewind a few years, we played Montana, and you said, you know, our guys don't look like their guys. And you said we got to get better on the offensive line and defensive line. And I just feel like every year we've made strides in that area. I guess your anticipation for those groups this year up front, offensive and defensive line.
We're bigger and we're deeper on both sides of the ball. And that's, when I got here, we were not good on the defensive line. We were undersized. And then offensive line-wise, we had no depth. So that's a constant struggle to build depth on both sides of the ball. But you also have to have, you know, there's got to be some talent involved in that. So I think when you look back and go, that's what we used to look like, and this is what we look like now, who we're playing with now, it's measurable. You can see it, you know, not only in numbers, but you can see it in production, athletic ability, and things like that when you evaluate the guys. This is the deepest our whole line has been. You know, we put together a group of guys that travel this, we're too deep, and then we got some other guys too that could possibly play, right? And that's never happened before. Same thing on the other side of the ball, the defensive side. We're too deep, maybe a third guy going in. We're going to play a lot of players this Saturday to see who can do what and who responds well to, game situations. But the opportunity, in the past, we didn't even have that chance to play extra guys, and then now we do.
Talk about this group of tight end jab. It seems like it's deep and some guys that can make some plays for you offensively.
You know what helps with the tight end position, Robbie, is that we use a tight end. We utilize them. Branson Schwabel caught over 50 balls. Nolan Gibbons a year later, 2 years later, over 50 catches. Ivan Dabrowski last year, 6 touchdown catches. You know, we value the tight end position in our offense, and we use them. We utilize them. We use 1, 2, 3 tight end sets all the time. You know, and there's no difference there. You know, with Jacob Logan's return from an injury, Bauer Sharp gained valuable experience last year. Connor Briggs, Ivan Dabrowski. And then Cade Collier. You know, we got 5 guys who, you know, look like tight ends, right? Tall, long, physical, play at the point of attack, things like that. And we're able to get those guys and keep those guys because we know they can see what we're using and how we utilize the tight end position.
Have you nailed down who returns punts, kicks?
Yeah, Darius Lewis will return punts for us. Kicks still kind of up in the air with him, Tyrone Leggett, Mike Williams, Harlan Dixon. You know, that's still kind of up in the air right now. But it'll be Darius and Kunta Hester returning punts, and Mike Williams. So it's a talented group. It's guys who've done it before, you know. So feel pretty good about that.
Do you feel like your offensive line with the talent and experience matches up well? I mean, I know, like you said, Mississippi State front seven is really good, but
Yeah.
you do have to feel good on some aspect of this offensive line.
Well, you got to remember, our guys are older too. You know, Jalen's been here 4 years. John's been here 4 years. Jai's been here 4 years. Brock's been here 4 years. We got some guys that are older, more experienced. Mentally, they're not going to be outmatched, right? It might be, you know, the physical part is the part you concern yourself with. But this is what I know about that group. They will compete their butts off, and they're not going to be intimidated or anything else. They might get beat. They might not perform well. But it's not because they're not trying, and it's not because they're scared of the environment. That part's not going to happen.
Running back.
Yeah, Harlan's come in and done a nice job. Rodeo's done a nice job, so you feel like you got a good 1-2 punch. The guy who's really stepped up for us has been DeAndre Jackson, you know, a little freshman, and he's really had a good fall camp. Excited about him. He's going to get some playing time this week, and Tommy Lee might get some playing time this week. So we're going to have, we'll rotate a bunch of guys in there, but you kind of feel like that's 2 really good size backs that can take a pounding during the course of the game, and then DeAndre's more of a speed guy for us, you know, that we really needed in the backfield. And so that's what we got right now.
What are your thoughts on cowbells?
I don't have one. I know they make a lot of noise. Played up there a couple of times when I was at Tulane, and so it does impact. We worked on silent count, which we do every year anyway. But the fans, you don't want the fans involved. And how do you get the fans out of the game? You get up early, or they get up early, right? So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, I'm sure that they'll try to impact the game. They'll be excited. Like I said, there'll be a lot of passion in this game on Saturday because of Coach Leach.
How do you manage expectations for a game like this?
You know, again, you don't have them, Matt. If you stay away from what the expectations are, you never have to worry about it. You evaluate exactly what you're going through, and each play is so important, and then you evaluate that, and then you go on to the next play, and then you continually do that instead of, you know, the expectation is we have to win. Well, what if we do win? Then where are we now? What do we put our expectations on next week? And all that's just out there. Those are things that you can't grasp. And then if your expectation is to win and you don't win, just throw everything out the window. You don't do that. You got to keep building. You build a nice solid foundation, and you continue to build on that. And as your players see that they're growing and getting better, they're improving, going through the process that we put them through, that when it comes their time, the scoreboard will read it like you want it to read. But like I said, we don't have an expectation to win the conference championship. We don't have an expectation to go to the playoff. We don't have those expectations. We want to play as well as we can play, and we're going to trust that everything that we're going through will get us the results that we're looking for.
Any more questions for Coach?
Austin Dunlap. I mean, a guy that can flip a field like
Yeah.
that. I mean, is he just a weapon that really no one really talks about, but is essential to what you do?
Yeah, he's been a starter for us for 4 years, right? And he's done an unbelievable job. We're gonna miss him, but he's not gone yet. So I got him this whole season. He's a leader for us too. You know, he's a positive influence on the rest of the team, on the other players. He does it. He's holding down, that's his spot. So we got one starter returning, and then Raleigh Callahan and Matteo Rengifo have really battled it out during camp. Raleigh won the job last year, so we really hadn't made a decision on the kicking spots yet. So we'll see how that goes.
Good. All right.
Good. Thank y'all, man. Appreciate it. Thank y'all for being here.